Call to a meeting of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners, November 15th to order. This morning we'll have the invocation by Commissioner Ed Marty and the Pledge of Allegiance of Commissioner John Bell.
God Almighty, we come today first to give thanks for the gift of another day, one that can be shared with our fellow men. Father, we pause to ask a special blessing for the family of Mary Sherman, and that their family's pain be softened by your grace and mercy. This day offers an abundance of food, a place to shelter, safety, and an opportunity to get along with our neighbors. We give thanks for our military serving in far-off lands, first responders who stand guard while we sleep and protect us as we move freely about this land. Father, provide us with the wisdom to make decisions and the desire to respect our national leaders as we expect that they respect us. In Jesus' name we pray, amen.
Amen.
May we stand?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, we need a motion to approve the minutes of November the 1st.
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve. Any discussion? All those in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand. Okay. Adjustments to the agenda.
We have one adjustment, and that is a motion to approve a work authorization, number 3, between the county and W.K. Dixon for design and engineering for 4 corporate hangar sites and grant administration in the amount of $119,686, with the county share being $12,100. All of these are subject to approval of the contract by NC Division of Aviation, county attorney, and the county manager. So that would be the addition.
Okay. That we're adding that as item 10.
Oh, yes, and Borden corrected me, we're also moving numbers 7 and 8 to 1 and 2 under new business.
Okay, and we are, we may in fact be moving items around to accommodate those that may be absent. Okay, any other matters of adjustment?
I'm going to provide Joe with the motion.
Okay. If we can, let us just go ahead and take up, because I think John had told me he's going to have to leave at 9:30, and I see now that we've got public comments as well as public hearings, so we're going to go ahead and take up our first item of new business, which is a motion to approve a resolution designating exempt and non-exempt employees of the County of Wayne. Mr. Wood.
Well, I've given you the memo and the resolution. As I said, this is a new Department of Labor regulation. They raised the income or salary or threshold for people to be classified as exempt. So we had to go back through all of our exempt employees and see if they still met the threshold. Mr. Ponder and Ms. Lee did all of that with their staff, and we're comfortable that this is correct. I think, again, there's about 41 positions that would be listed as exempt now under these new regulations. Everybody else is hourly. Most of our employees have always been hourly, but some of our salary people are having to change to hourly under this because we can't meet that income threshold.
Okay, is there any questions for Mr. Wood on the matter? That we discussed it in our agenda meeting. So I will need a motion to approve the resolution as outlined on page 142.
Motion to approve, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, we've got a motion to approve the resolution without reading it is on, listed on page 142, and we did go over that in our agenda meeting. See, any discussions on the motion? Being none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay. And then the next item was a motion to adopt resolution defining indigent patients.
Mr. Parker went through that in detail with you. This, basically what it does is it provides a definition for indigent care. He has also, in the whereases, pointed out to you the two sections of the current agreement that apply. The first one talks about continuing care to indigent patients, talks about the fact that the County Board of Commissioners determines the definition of indigent patients, and that's why he's also given you the attachment, which does in fact define that. The second part is in paragraph 6, indemnification. It makes it clear that the Wayne Healthcare Corporation agrees to indemnify the county, hold it harmless from any and all claims, losses, damages, liabilities, costs, expenses, judgments, or obligations resulting from any litigation in which the hospital is named defendant, is named party defendant on the date of this agreement, or in which they or the county is named a party defendant as a result of the operation of the hospital during the term of this agreement. So with that, we would recommend approval of this. And the definition of indigent care has been written by the county attorney.
All right. I would need a motion to approve the resolution as stated in page 145.
So moved.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor to approve the resolution defining indigent patients. Is there any discussion on the motion? Being none, all those. Oh, I'm
I
sorry.
just make a point. Wayne Moore Hospital works extremely hard and very diligent in trying to identify indigent care. And they do a very good job at it, provide very good service for this community. And I guess my closing question is, how are we progressing with the negotiations with the hospital, with the contract?
Well, I think at the last time we discussed it, the indication I got was you wanted to break them off. So we have.
So it's a clear separation of hospital and watch now. It's a clear separation.
What we did was tell them that we were still willing to entertain the portion of watch, of the watch agreement. I thought that was the indication I'd gotten from the board.
That is correct.
It's correct.
That,
Commissioner Mayo.
that we did in fact, with a nod of the head, agree that watch was a done deal.
If they want it. It's up to them. In other words, I left that proposal on the table.
Have you gotten it to them yet?
I have not heard
Okay.
from them, but I did make them aware of it, and I did wait the time you and I discussed.
Okay.
Right, but it is in fact separate from
I would-
the
Well,
contract.
it's the only thing out there now, because I made it clear that the other was not acceptable to you.
Right, okay,
So that's the only part that's out there now. And they understand that.
okay.
Are they aware of this part of this proposal?
We didn't discuss this proposal.
Okay.
We didn't get into that. And just so y'all know, this,
Let me stop.
okay.
I think we are skirting on disclosure of matters that we have discussed in closed session, and I do not think that we need to be discussing these matters openly. Now, we have a motion that's on the floor. All those in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? All right, that matter's been resolved. And that vote was 5-2, is that correct?
5-2.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, could I ask as a matter of courtesy that we go ahead and take the guaranteed maximum price contract? These gentlemen are here. I hate for them to have to sit through an hour meeting.
Sure. Well, no, what can I say? I gotta be here, you need to be here.
Even they might be charging us by the hour.
Yeah, that's true.
All right, item 9 was a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price contract to include additional subcontractor components for the Maxwell Regional Agricultural Convention Center. We did in fact discuss this and went through a great deal of detail in our agenda meeting.
Right.
Is there any further questions related to that? And you were supposed to prepare us with a motion as you would like it worded.
Okay. This is a motion to approve the guaranteed maximum price contract to include additional subcontractor components for the Maxwell Regional Agricultural and Convention Center for amendment number 3. And I think that's all we need to say because the amendment itself is in this packet. And the only other comment I would make is I just wanted to commend both the architect and the contractor, T.A. Loving and HH Architecture for going through this diligently and finding another $891,000 in savings. And we don't think it's adversely affected the building at all. There were a couple of things that people had proposed we look at, and to their credit, and I think to ours, we did not accept those because we felt like they would harm the building's aesthetics or the operation of it. So I just wanted to commend them for that. That took almost $900,000 out of this contract.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
First, I was going to thank T.A. Lovin for doing a great job on that, and keep digging, guys. But other than that, I will make the motion to approve the resolution as read by Mr. Wood.
Okay. We got
Unless
a
there's
motion.
anything else that needs to be.
No, we're good.
All right. We have a motion on the floor for approval. Is there any discussion on the motion? Being none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay. All right. We're gonna let you guys go then. All right, so that one has been taken care of. All right, we're gonna go now to our public comment period. And we're gonna open up our the floor for anyone that would like to come forth and speak to us during the public comment period. Is there anyone that would like to speak? You mean we just had an election and nobody wants to get up here and speak? Ed, you can't go down there and speak. Okay, last call. Public comment period is closed. Appointment committee.
Okay, we have several this morning. We met. We'd like to recommend the appointment of the Wayne County Board of Commissioners to the Housing Appeals Board. I'd like to put this in form of a motion.
So you are appointing the entire board, is that correct?
Mr. Wolf? Yes.
Yes.
Hold one second, I'm sorry. Mr. Parker.
I'm sorry, I was not aware that was going to be done. The problem with that is the appeal is from the Board of Commissioners. So you will be appealing from something to yourselves.
Can we?
Table this one.
We're gonna table that particular one and let the council, will
Sorry,
review
I
it
was
with the
not aware
council.
that that was going to be.
That's
done.
fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Okay, so next is we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Dr. George Silver to the Wayne County Animal Control Advisory Committee. All right, put that in form of a motion.
All right, we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Being none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand.
Next appointments are, we'd like to recommend the reappointment of Jack Best and Terry Jordan to the Wayne Health Corporation Board of Directors, and the appointment of Dr. Samer Kaspari As a new appointee, I'd like to put this in form of a motion.
I would like to amend that motion. I would like to table that motion until such time we can have further discussion on the matter. That puts me in a little awkward position in that I am the chair making the motion, but guide me through this.
You can make the motion.
Okay, so I want to amend the motion that we table that matter for further discussion. Any discussion on the amendment to the motion? If not, all those in favor of the amendment to table signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Okay, we're going to table that currently. And next?
We'd like to recommend the appointment of Ross Halverson to the Wayne County Tourism Development Authority. I'd like to put this in form of a motion.
All right, is there any discussion on the motion?
Just a question, is that one of those that was recommended by the?
Yes, sir.
Okay, I thought it was.
All right, being no discussions, all those in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand. Okay,
Patience for this next one, this will be a little lengthy. This is the reappointment to the Wayne County Juvenile Crime Prevention Council, and those reappointments requests are C.J. Weaver, Chief Mike West, Sheriff Larry Pierce, District Attorney Matthew Delbridge, Jennifer Short, Suzanne Lewis, Stephen Potter, Marlene Hubble, Mallory Dumman, John M. Bell, Dustin Pittman, David Brantley, David Madden, Sudie Davis, Felicia Brown, Sidney R. Hill, Leroy Lewis, Shelley Willis, Joseph E. Setzer, Mary Ann Dudley. The county manager requested Phil Ponder, Assistant County Manager, Emmanuel Adeloy, and we have one new appointment to that board, and that is, Marcia, help me on that one. They were all, okay, well, that's good, that finalizes that, and put that in form of a motion.
Mr. Chairman, so that we don't have to go back and make another appointment, Gordon, could we just make the assistant county manager by position? If we do that, then we don't have to go back in 3
Okay.
months and do it.
Amend that appointment of Phil Ponder to Assistant County Manager by position.
okay. We've got a motion on the floor. Is there any discussion on the motion?
I've got a question, is why would you put somebody that's in an interim position on the board?
Because the assistant county manager's been doing that.
Okay, just what you, I don't agree with it, but you know, if that's what y'all want to do, that's fine. Just call for a vote.
Okay. Any more discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All those opposed? Thank you.
And our final one is the Jetport Advisory Committee. We met last night, and Tim Edwards had been serving on that, and he has moved to out of state. And the Jetport Advisory Committee asked us to consider Greg Ricker. So the Appointments Committee met and would like to recommend Greg Ricker to the Wayne County Executive Jetport Advisory Committee, and I'll put that in the form of a motion.
All right, we've got a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? If not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay.
That concludes.
All right. Consent agenda. Mr. Wood.
I think we reviewed all of these during the work session portion. I'll be happy to answer any questions anybody has on any of them. I think the biggest thing is the emergency purchase of 2 chiller units at the jail. But I think we went over that.
Okay, does anyone have any comments or questions on the matters on the consent agenda?
Move to accept.
Okay, we've got a motion to accept the consent agenda. Any discussion on the motion? Okay, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay. We now have two items under new business that are similar, and we're going to ask Mr. Crumple to come up and go through that. And that is a motion to approve the Spring Forest preliminary and then the final on phase one. Mr. Crumple.
Yes, sir. Spring Forest preliminary is for your consideration. The owner-developer is Sasser Home Builders. Brian Jones is the consulting engineer. It's located in the New Hope Township off Dollartown Road, which is SR 1727. It contains 148 lots. Also, the next item we have is the section one. Normally, we bring the preliminary in here before they actually produce a section. Mr. Price, the former planning director, reviewed this, and it went to planning board back a year or so ago, and it was approved with some conditions for stormwater control that needed to be shown on the preliminary. When they submitted section one, I realized that it did not come to the board for approval, so they met the conditions, and they're here today for it. So it is, the subdivision ordinance does require that for every major subdivision ordinance, subdivision within the territorial jurisdiction that it doesn't qualify as a minor, it should come before the Board of Commissioners. It does consist of 148 lots, 1 permanently protected open space area, and 6 proposed streets. Subdivision will be built on 80 acres. It's located 4/10 of a mile from Lake Wakena Road. The proposed development is zoned outer horizontal for height restrictions only. There are no mapped flood zones present. The average lot size is about 1/2 an acre. There are 6 new streets equaling 1.8 miles in length proposed. Of course, they will be installed per the requirements of the North Carolina Department of Transportation. These building lots will utilize public water and on-site sewer. There is 1 permanently protected open space area of 2.3 acres, and they use this as part of their stormwater calculations. That will be turned over to the homeowners association, and upon completion, the subdivision will have 3 permanent stormwater ponds in place for peak flow. It is shown within an urban transition area on the Wayne County Comprehensive Land Use Plan. It is serviced by Spring Creek High School, Spring Creek Middle, Spring Creek Primary. It is serviced by Eastern Wayne Sanitary District, Elroy Fire, EMS Station 1. It is within the Goldsboro MPO for transportation planning. It's not within a water supply watershed area. There are no voluntary ag districts present, no wetlands, and it is within Board of Commissioners District 6. You can see on page 126 a layout of the subdivision. Those are reverse frontage lots. There's no access directly out to Dollartown Road. Those are all accessed by internal streets. And on page 127, you have an aerial map showing the surrounding area and what it looks like and its proximity to Lake Wakena Road. The Wayne County Planning Board did recommend approval.
Any questions of, any questions of Mr. Crump?
By chance, the Elroy Fire Department look at this?
This was sent to the Office of Emergency Service to the Fire Marshal as a preliminary when it was reviewed.
Just a lot of lots there for
Yes, sir.
one entrance.
Yes, sir.
That was gonna be my question.
Well, it was designed per the DOT requirements for access, so I think that is what they ultimately asked, was approved. Originally, Mr. Price asked for 2 entrances, and I think they turned that down and went back to 1.
So excuse me, Mr. Chairman, so what you're saying is DOT's dictating how we can do
Yes.
subdivisions in Wayne County?
They're dictating the access to Dollartown Road and the reverse frontage lots.
Let me back up on that comment. You're saying that NCDOT has in fact determined that they could not have 2 entrances?
They approved 1 entrance off of Dollartown Road. That was as part of their design approval.
Well, I concur with the concern of the other 2 commissioners, and that is you've got 150 lots here, basically. with one way out.
Yes.
Let me rephrase my question then. Are you saying that NCDOT would not approve it if in fact this board determined to send this back and ask for the second entry?
I'm not sure about that. I don't,
Oh, okay.
I'm not in that approval process.
And I, like Joe said, I'd like to clarify, it may have went to the fire marshal's office, but I just wanted to make sure that somebody there at Royal Fire Department has seen it.
It was sent to
And
the
they may
fire-
have, I'm not saying they hadn't.
It was sent to the fire marshal, so that was what we required. Sent to the Office of Emergency Services.
Mr. Powers, can you check on that?
As a preliminary, all preliminaries go to the technical review committee, which includes the Office of Emergency Services.
Is it customary that we approve subdivisions with this number of lots with one entrance?
We don't have any rules against it. We don't have anything in our ordinance.
That was a diplomatic answer, wasn't it?
They just don't want to give us the pass.
Well, there's nothing in our ordinance that prevents us from approving it. It meets.
I
the
see Mel left. Oh, okay.
I was gonna ask, just to follow up on, is there a rule of thumb on the number of lots with one entrance?
Can you put 500 lots in there with one entrance?
The entrance street would have to be designed according to what DOT recommended.
Mr. Chairman,
No, guys, go ahead. Mr. Mayor.
did you say there was two entrances that were
I
applied?
think Mr. Price requested 2 entrances and it was turned down by DOT.
Okay, well, I'm not defending the DOT, but I'm wondering, we may not know the whole story. It could be for, safety reasons as far as entering, the main road. It could be. And the DOT, probably does have the authority to make that determination.
That is correct.
Chip, I have a question.
Mhm.
Looking at that, it looks like, is the land vacant on either side of this?
It is vacant to the east and across the street, but not to the west. There's single-family residences to the west road
The
front.
reason I'm asking is, that plat shows you've got 2 connecting roads on the east and west side, so now, it won't immediately, but my question is, when that land
It could,
develops.
yes, there are 2 stub outs to adjoining property that it could be further developed if the adjoining property owner, Sleepy Creek Farms, wish to develop their property. You could extend into that property.
But you're saying on the west, it's not? That it's already developed, or what?
On the west, it's already developed.
Well, does this road tie into an existing road? This one on the
Did
on the
John
west side?
leave while we were arguing about this thing? He left.
It's stubbed out.
But is that already developed?
No, sir, it's vacant land.
Okay, well, that's what I was getting at, so. Okay.
It would give access to property that borders Lake Wakena Road, actually that northwest stub out up here. This stub out,
Yeah, I'm not defending what DOT is doing, I'm just pointing out that in the future, you may actually have connections
Yes.
as these develop.
That could be developed and stubbed out to Lake Wakena Road. There's one down here on the south, right here could be stubbed out and that piece of property be developed as well.
Okay.
So
Well,
the,
that's what
so
I'm
the
wondering.
access, the additional access may come about by the development of.
Once
the-
those
Of adjoining
developments
property.
take place, they have stubbed out 2 additional roads.
Okay.
You didn't put cul-de-sacs on them is the point.
Okay.
What-
Any other,
Yeah, I got a question, one more question. On those 2 stub outs, and I should know this answer since I served on the planning board. In the past, I know there's been some instances that you'd have a stub out like this going to adjacent property, and we required that there be a cul-de-sac, and if it ever was done away with, the cul-de-sac, what was taken in, it would be done away with, the cul-de-sac, that property would revert to the adjacent lot owners.
Right, I don't think the length of those stub outs would dictate a cul-de-sac being installed. There's only one lot on one of them each. I think they got a temporary turnaround show, but I don't think the length of them is long enough to actually do a cul-de-sac.
Okay, can we take action on this with Commissioner Bell not present?
You can take action.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
All right, what is the pleasure of the board?
Know what the emergency
I
service
don't know.
director found. I'd like to know what the emergency service director found out. Anything?
Okay, if you'll step forward and give us this information. I'm glad to see you back. We thought you were escaping.
Oh, no, sir, wouldn't ever leave. I did just talk to the fire marshal. He does have a concern. That's a lot of lots for one entrance. He does not remember seeing this plat come through. Not saying it didn't come through. He does not remember it. But he did say that 150 lots with one entrance and exit out is a lot of lots, and does have a concern for him. He said he has seen this in the past. I think he said southwest, and they had to go back and change and put two entrances in. So it is a concern to the fire marshal.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes?
and that, if it's a
Commissioner.
concern to the fire marshal and it was a concern to Mr. Price, our former planning director, that throws up 2 red flags for me. But I'll do whatever I'd act on it. I don't know what to do about it.
Well, we certainly would love to see 150 new homes sitting out there, but we want to make sure that safety concerns are addressed.
Mr. Chairman,
If I might, let me make a motion. It's in my district, I'll take the heat on it. And that is that we send this back to the planning board and ask that they review it with NCDOT in relation to adding an additional entry point.
You're basically saying ask DOT to reconsider their
That's correct.
decision.
That's correct.
Give us an explanation if they're not going to.
So we will defer this back to the planning board for further discussion with the developer and NCDOT for them to have more than one entry and exit. So I've got that in a motion. Any discussion on the motion?
Any comments, Mr.
Any
Marshall?
comments?
Now, say that motion again, because I want to make sure I'm clear.
I said it once. And that is that we defer this back to the planning
You're going
board.
to table this.
We're gonna table this, we're gonna send it back to the planning board for the planning board to review it with NCDOT, the developer, for the addition of an additional entry and exit point.
And, Mr. Chairman, and if Chip, if you can, since you don't have anything to do, if you can expedite it where maybe we can act on it the next meeting?
That would be
Because I
great.
hate to hold up the developer in it, but then again, we got to look, our concern is the citizens of the
Agreed.
county.
Agreed. So we'd like to get it back as quickly as possible. We do not want to hinder his development.
Yeah, but, okay, I can. Section 1 has already been built and paved and built to DOT standards and has an approval letter from DOT.
Oh, really?
And Section 1 takes in all the frontage of Road 1
That's-
and the access. It's the whole way across the front.
Well, that sounds like somebody got ahead of us.
Yes. But I can table it and ask the engineer to readdress this with DOT. I can take it up with DOT, but as to why there was only one entrance.
Still want to make my motion so that we get further explanation. Okay, any discussion?
So you are gonna send it back to the planning
We're
board?
gonna vote on that motion in just a moment.
Okay, all right.
So that is the motion. Any more discussion? If not, all those in favor of the motion indicate by raising your right hand. Okay, so we're gonna send it back, and hopefully we can get it back here at our next meeting.
Should be able to.
Okay. That should take care of motion, I'm sorry, in regards to item 3 and 4. We have a 9:30 public hearing. So I'm going to open the public hearing to receive public comments on a request from Braswet Ventures Incorporated to rezone a 13.03 acre tract at the end of Eagle Place, State Road 2122, from light industry to residential 15. Mr. Crumpler.
Okay, the planning department received a petition from Braswell Ventures to rezone a 13.07 acre tract in the Fort Township from light industry to residential 15. Property is located at the end of Eagle Place, which is State Road 2122. The subject site is further identified as part of tax parcel 2670390137. The tract is adjacent to Rosewood Valley subdivision and behind the former Methodist Men's Warehouse located off Community Drive. The property is currently wooded. The zoning change will allow the developer to construct an 18-lot residential subdivision as an extension to Eagle Place and Rosewood Valley subdivision. Property is bordered on the north by industrial buildings with light industry zoning, on the east by Rosewood Valley subdivision with R15 zoning, on the south by commercial development and CS zoning, and by wooded tracts on the west in RA20 zoning. Property is within a urban transition area on the Wayne County Growth Strategy Map. It is within the Rosewood High School School District, Rosewood Middle School, Rosewood Elementary. It is within Fork Sanitary District for water. It is within Refrigeration DO water. It is present, and it is for to that is approved. Public newspaper.
Okay, anyone that would like to step forward and have any comments during this public hearing? Last call for public comments. Okay, the public hearing is closed. If the board would, my understanding is we need the entire board to take any action on that, so we may come back to that. Commissioner Bell is to return at about 11, so we'll try to take that up at that time. Okay, I know we're jumping all around here. I think the next item was, I have a motion to award the bid for debris clearing and removal services for Hurricane Matthew.
We had given you a handout where we got the bids in the other day. The low bid is Custom Tree Care at $74 a ton, and so we would recommend approval of them as the vendor.
Okay, do I have a motion to award the bid?
So moved.
Okay, so we have a motion on the floor to award the low bidder on the debris clearing, and it's my understanding that they could get started almost immediately. Is that correct?
Yes, that's our intention, is Mel to start them out just as quickly as we can.
All right, got a motion on the floor. Any discussion?
Just clarity here, are we going to start trying to get that information out?
Yes, and one of the things that he had talked about was also using the code red, because that way we can blast it out to a lot of people in that neighborhood specifically. But yeah, as soon as we meet with them and get a game plan for, how they're doing it, then we'll start getting that information out immediately.
So would the Office of Emergency Service be the keeper of the registry?
They will.
Okay.
And of course, they'll work with Communications Director to get the press releases and things out. And also we'll put some, on the radio, and also try to get something on our TV channel as well. So and our website, we'll try to put it all out there as quickly as we can, once we know exactly the route and everything.
Very good.
Okay, any other questions or comments? Okay, we have a motion on the floor to award. All those in favor of the motion signify by raising your right hand. Okay, hopefully they can go right to work. Item 6 is a similar motion. We need a motion to award the bid for disaster management and recovery monitoring services.
Yes, this is a FEMA requirement that we have a company to monitor the other company, is basically what it amounts to. And that's been a long time requirement. I think, Joe, you said you had to do that before with Floyd. So we have bid that out. Those bids are in your packet. Let's see, 131 to 132. And we had 3 companies there. We're recommending Witt O'Brien because they had the lowest hourly rates.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
All right, we got a motion on the floor to award the bid for the monitoring services. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Okay. Next item is a motion to award the bid for DDC controls for 5 Wayne County buildings. And I think the first question is, what is a DDC control? Government, they always abbreviate everything.
Yes, sir. Direct digital controls, fancy word for thermostat.
Thank you.
Yes, sir. What this is, we've got 5 of our buildings that are automated. That means the controls go to my computer and actually one more. And we can actually control the temperature and all kinds of things, fans and whatnot from that area. And this is just a contract. We canceled a previous contract and we bid it out 3 times, and Brady Train was the low bidder on this one for us.
Did I understand you to say we have canceled our previous contract?
Yes, sir, we did. We were under contract, and it was probably a 4 or 5 year contract, and we canceled that one out so that we could rebid it and do it a little bit different and save us a pretty good bit of money.
All right. Any questions, Mr. Kendall?
Just keep saving money.
Yeah. Someone like to make a motion to award that bid?
So moved.
All right, got a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? All those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Next item is a motion to award a bid. My goodness, we put some bids out. Noel, you've been busy, haven't you? Motion to award a bid for the waste removal services at Wayne County facilities. Mr. Wood.
We got 3 bids on that, and the low bidder is the company we're with now. So we recommend you stay with them, which is Waste Industries.
The only comment I've got, it's amazing to me that the next closest bid was about double what we were awarding.
Right.
So it's a good value.
Is that per month or year?
Kendall?
That can't be very, not you.
Monthly.
I would think that.
you guys are looking at this month.
That was for a year, that would be a good deal.
It would be nice. All right, do I have a motion to award the bid?
So moved.
Okay. Got a motion on the floor, any discussion on the motion? Not all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. All right, you got that one taken care of, moving right along. Let me see, I got so much scribbling here, I wanna make sure I've got that. We've already taken care of items 7 and 8. We also have taken care of 9, now going to 10, which is an approval of the contract for professional services. Mr. Wood,
I'm sorry.
this is, approval of contract for professional services out at the airport.
Yes, this is the matter we talked about in the work session. Joe and Ray were at the same meeting last night. We got this in, I think it was Thursday. We have been talking about adding corporate hangars out there. The problem we have now, it's a good problem to have, is once we executed the contract with UNC Healthcare, which we have done, by the way, and Kendall will be making those improvements there. That's underway, and they've also moved in a temporary trailer there to house their people, so they are on site. They're already doing operations out of our airport, and they're also buying gas from us, and it's, he reported last night it's a substantial amount. But the problem we have now is that we really don't have any corporate hangar space left. And I believe we've discussed this for probably the last 3 months or so. We had asked W.K. Dixon to look into this. And so what they're proposing is an agreement to do $119,686 worth of work. This would basically do the evaluations on it, do the soil testing, do the design, preliminary design, and then full design, contract documents, bid documents, go through all of the approvals that we have to get through the FAA and also the various environmental approvals they have to get. Now, the good news is we only have to pay $12,100 of that. It's a 90% FAA or North Carolina Division of Aviation grant, but it's FAA money through them. So they have a presentation, I think, that they'd like to put a thumb drive in if we can. Can we do that? We can't do it in here.
Somebody else wants to know. If you could give me 5 minutes, I can.
Never mind, Mel.
Mel, help him out.
If you blow that computer up, you're gonna have to pay for it.
So we don't do that.
Thank you both.
It's ready.
Want me to do it?
Yes. Yeah, that's installed its own software.
There we go. Okay, yeah, this is, shows.
Excuse me, introduce yourself.
I'm sorry, I skipped that part.
No problem.
Jason Elliott with WK Dixon.
Great.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Glad to be here. So this shows the first two of the 4 hangars that we'll be preparing the site for. The other 2, the future development part there, the airport is getting ready soon to go through an ALP update, which will look at the overall development of the airport. And a piece of that task will be to lay out the design of the corporate area and that future development area there.
Excuse me, I hate to interrupt. What was ALP?
It's an airport layout plan.
Thank you.
Those
See,
letters, yeah.
everybody just gets into these.
So as part of this contract, we're proposing a preliminary design phase to go ahead and lay out that future development area there, so that we can prepare the site for 4 hangars instead of 2. One thing that we've run into that could be an issue with that site, and preparing the scope and fee, looked at this wetland mapper, and that big green spot, which is potential wetlands, is right on where we, right there, yeah, where we intend to hopefully put the hangars. If that becomes an issue, the first step that we'll do, if we get started with design, is have someone go out there and delineate wetlands. And if that area there is an issue, then we're proposing on the other side of the terminal, putting the 4 hangars right there, which is down from the T hangars that are currently there. We'll have both sites looked at from a wetland standpoint, and whichever one, the preferred option would be the original site, but this is a secondary site if we need to. Any questions?
Mr. Chairman.
I think one thing, Jason, you might want to mention is you've left space between where that proposed alternate site is and our T hangars where we could put a few more in.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Yeah, so the T hangars, which is that long building on the right there, we do have space there to put 2 or 3 at least more T hangars in the future, because that's something else that's on the airport's
And
goals.
does everybody understand a T hangar, that it's smaller, privately owned planes?
Right. The T hangars they're fit in sort of like T's, but it's small hangars, that are, it's one building that, I think in this case is 10 or 12 different hangars that kind of lock together. But the corporate area hangars are bigger. What we're proposing is 100 by 100 hangars, which is a bigger block kind of building, which can house like large corporate jets, and which obviously brings tax dollars to the county with them being there, so.
Mr. Pate.
My question was, the first site, do we know that is a floodplain in there
No,
for sure, or do we know?
no, that's why we're gonna,
So you're gonna study that site first, and then the
Right.
second one, you don't know that about that either?
there's nothing showing up on this map, or it's kind of cut off. Well, now you can see it there, but there's
Yeah.
nothing showing up here. So we don't anticipate wetlands there. But obviously, it's very likely where it's showing up in the first site. There's likely to be some amount of wetlands there that may not impact where we want to put the hangars.
So you could potentially put the hangars there anyway?
Well, if it's not too big of an impact or
Okay.
impact at all. But
Well,
if
if
it
I'm-
looks like that, then we're in trouble and we're gonna need to move.
Well, according to what we're seeing here, we've already got one hangar and partial of another one on
That's right.
wetlands.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this comes from like the soils map, so it pretty much is a high likelihood of wetlands in that area, so, I mean, most likely where that hangar is, there's not
Right where that big ditch runs
a
right along.
wetland that was there, or hopefully, or either it was permanent.
But is this determining it as a specific type of wetlands, or is just possible being wetlands?
It's possible. That's why we'll have one of our environmental guys go out there and delineate what they think is wet, and then have the Corps and DEQ come out and verify what is there.
And while I'm asking a few questions, if I could, if you could go back to that other plot that you had there of, not that one, but the one, that one. It's my understanding that we are talking about an additional T-hanger. That's gonna go in,
In between
possibly
those.
in between there, is that correct?
Right, and actually I think we could get, Jason was saying we could get at least 2, possibly 3 more.
If in fact we are going to go into this section here, would we not go ahead and designate that as future development and clear that as well while we're having to clear
Well,
this?
He's doing this airport layout plan. When he gets that done, then we can make that determination. At
All
this point, we would probably just do the work we need to do for this. Because the whole idea of this and this proposal is that they would get 4 site-ready sites there. In other words, we would do the site work completely, so that then if someone came to the Airport Advisory Board and ultimately to you and wanted to do a ground lease and build their own, we're ready to go.
But this contract is really for the design
It's
phase,
for the
not
design.
any
It's
extra
not for the work,
That's
right, because if you went with someone who's going to build it themselves, they would do it and they would pay for the connection out to the apron that is going to be included. So some of this, we will have to do a contract to do work, to do all the work, the sites, and also do the apron and the taxi lane and all that. But after that, they would build the actual hangar if that's the route we go. Or the alternative would be is the county borrows the money and builds it itself. And then the payments for the lease would offset the debt service there. So the quickest way to do it is to do a ground lease and let people build their own.
I know I'm getting older as such, but I thought we were also talking about the development of the T-hanger, because we had 2 deeds. One was for the corporate hangar as well as the T-hanger.
Well, one of the discussions that came up last night is if you were able to get all 4, and one of these may be that we build one, because we don't want to be in a position where we don't
But
have
those are the
any-
commercial.
The commercial.
Right.
If you do that, you can move some planes into there out of the T hangars and free up some space. So we felt like the corporate should come first, then we would look at the T hangars. So that was the discussion last
We all
night.
good with that?
Yes.
Well, I just didn't know whether or not we wanted to do, if you're already there and you're already doing planning, whether or not we'd go ahead and do the master plan that would include T hangers as well as the commercial. I mean, that's my question. I mean, is it more cost effective?
Well, we could. I think one of the issues with FAA grants is you've got to be ready to go. You know, and I don't know that we were ready to go on the T hangers yet.
Okay.
I will say, I think this is sort of what you're getting at. If we do build in this area, if we have to move over here, that preliminary phase, we would look at an ultimate layout in this area that would include future T hangers.
Oh, okay.
So that preliminary phase will just shift over here to that area.
But you wouldn't do the detailed design, but you
Not
would do the
detailed, but
preliminary
the
design.
layout.
So that would
Sure,
get, I
just the
think, what
layout.
you want
That's
to
what
do.
I'm talking about. Okay, Commissioner Mayor.
One of the things that came out of our meeting last night, if I'm correct, is that most airports, T hangars are fine, but you don't want to overbuild your T hangers. That's what we discussed last night. The corporate side took the priority because if you have a particular Learjet and you're looking at $60,000 maybe in county taxes, I'm not saying that the private individuals and pilots are not important. It takes everybody to go. But the key is that corporate is buying a lot of fuel. For example, NC Healthcare that's out there now, our fuel, and Greg knows this and said it last night, our fuel rates are just way up, just based on that. So you got to have some really good foundations and have a mixture of everyone in order to make it go. I will say this, over the last 2 or 3 years, I've seen the progress at this jet port, and I can tell you that the people we have in line right now that are needing hangars, want a hangar, have the plane, and we do not have a hangar. That's a good problem to have. As it was said last night, we're about 6 months behind on getting this done. So our situation at the jet port is one of the best situations that I've seen since I've been on the board. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, any other questions or comments?
Just a comment, not, really doesn't pertain to it, but you mentioned the fuel cells for UNC Healthcare. Apparently, I live in the flight path. When they leave going west, they are flying. I mean, you see them, I'm not gonna say every day, but they are flying.
Yes. They're burning up for sure.
Okay, thank you very much. And I will need a motion.
I got it.
You got it?
Yeah. Make a motion to approve the work authorization number 3 between the county and W.K. Dixon for design and engineer for 4 corporate hangar sites and grant administration in the amount of $119,686, with the county share being $12,100, all subject to NCDOA, county manager, and county attorney approval.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor. Any discussion on the motion? Being none, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Jason.
A little bit of housekeeping. I want to make sure that these motions that we made, I think we're supposed to have appropriate budget amendments. I want to make sure that we've got that all taken care of.
I think we did.
We did? Okay. Good. All right. Help me find my place here.
I think we're down to number 10, I believe.
All right, let's do a video. Got any popcorn?
Hello and welcome to the County Update video for November 2016. This video is produced by the North Carolina Association of County Commissioners each month to keep county officials informed about association activities. Let's begin this month with an update on the NCACC's role in Hurricane Matthew recovery. The NCACC has been serving as point of contact between North Carolina county officials and Governor McCrory's office for their questions to the governor during the recovery effort after Hurricane Matthew. The NCACC website has a banner at the top of each page that links to the Matthew Recovery Information page, where all of the information available to the association is posted for easy access by county officials. We welcome your feedback on how that process worked in this event. Please email communications@ncacc.org with your comments or questions. And if you have Hurricane Matthew recovery related questions for the governor's office, please email help@ncacc.org. The NCACC Board of Directors held a historic meeting in September in Washington, D.C. President Fred McClure kicked off his presidency by holding his first board meeting as president at NACO headquarters in D.C. Board members from across North Carolina spent 2 days in the nation's capital to meet with the state's top federal elected officials, including Senators Tom Tillis and Richard Burr, and members of the U.S. House of Representatives. The trip came at the invitation of Senator Tom Tillis, and the Board of Directors was able to hear briefings from top private sector leaders, federal government officials, and senior members of Senator Tillis' staff on a wide range of issues, including the federal budget and appropriations process, the impact of mental health on public safety, the need to expand broadband access in rural communities, as well as national security and the defense industry. Legislative goals consideration is underway as steering committees are meeting to discuss goals that have been proposed by counties. The process will continue as the steering committees send their proposals to the Legislative Goals Committee. The legislative goals for the next biennium will be finalized at the Legislative Goals Conference in January. For more information on the process, visit ncacc.org/legislative goals. We encourage county officials to participate in steering committees, and each of the NCACC's 7 steering committees meet quarterly. Steering committees provide the greatest opportunity for individual county commissioners to get more involved with the association. Membership on the steering committees is open to all county commissioners, as well as county staff who might have a particular interest or expertise. For more information on NCACC steering committees, visit ncacc.org/steering committees. Well, that's all we have for this month. Thank you for watching and allowing us to keep you updated on your association's activities. If you'd like more information on anything we discussed here, please visit www.ncacc.org or contact us directly using the information on your screen. Thanks again for joining us, and we'll see you next month.
Okay, just a quick comment on the steering committees. Our association is made up of all 100 counties, and I would just encourage members of this board to actually become involved with these steering committees. What I am seeing is that some of the larger counties are heavily involved with the steering committees.
Well put.
And the what?
Well put.
And in their involvement have the votes to determine what the goals are of our association. And I can assure you that those goals may not be compatible with our goals. So I really encourage you all to become involved with those to try to at least balance out urban and rural. Okay. We are going to have to wait to get a vote on the public hearing that we had today on that matter. When John returns, he's supposed to return here 10:30 or 11. In the meanwhile, is there a motion that we go into closed session?
So moved.
And the purpose of going into closed session?
Consult with counsel concerning matters that require attorney-client privilege.
All right.
And if y'all will, if you'll bring this memo that I put out on your table. Okay.
Is there any discussion on the motion? Not, all those in favor signify by raising your right hand. Thank you. Board of Commissioners, committee reports and comments. Mr. Bell.
Only have one. I went to the juvenile justice meeting last Friday, and they are still on top of the heap, doing a lot of good work for the youth of Wayne County. And I think they're doing a very good job. As far as the East Point go, we still are at a standstill as far as our merger go. I think as I said once before, the state director has kind of taken that over, and he's going to make the decision hopefully within the next 2 or 3 months as to what we're going to do.
Mr. Chairman,
Okay.
if I could, I did forget one thing.
Okay.
If y'all recall, we got information that Duke Power had a grant program for these electric vehicle charging stations. Do y'all remember me talking about that? Yes, sir. Chip put in an application. We were going after, I believe it was 5 locations. We have not gotten the amount of money that we asked for. What they have awarded us is $15,000 to do 3 of these. But now it takes about $8,000 per, so they have not given us the full amount. So whether you want to make a decision today, or we can put it on the agenda for next week, or 2 weeks, that'll give y'all time to think about it. But the 3 they gave us was one at the Maxwell Convention Center, one at Wayne Community College, and one here at the courthouse, somewhere in this vicinity here. So the question is, do you want to subsidize those somewhat and install them, or do you want to say thanks, but no thank you?
So they're saying that they're gonna fund 3, but they're only giving us money for a little less than 2.
That's right.
We just put in 2.
Well, but the
But
agreement.
they require 3.
You got to do 3. So they're basically saying we'll help towards it, but we're not going to pay the full amount.
How much
I
does
thought
that
it was a
cost?
flat-out grant.
Me too.
We did too.
So how much is it gonna cost us, I guess, is the question.
Well, I believe Chip told me it's $8,000 each, so it would be 3 times $3,000, $9,000. Plus, remember, you have to pay for the electric, to hook up the electricity.
It sounds less glamorous than it did when I originally heard it, let's put it that. It sounds less glamorous than it did
It
when I
is.
heard it.
It is less glamorous.
So how much would we have to chip in?
9,000, and with the electrical, at least 10, maybe 11,000.
And they're gonna give us 15?
They're gonna give us 15.
A 50-50 grant.
I beg your pardon?
A 50-50 grant.
2 weeks from now, we're gonna check on this, right?
Yeah, you want to just put it on for the next agenda?
Yeah, let's put it
I
on.
did want to make you aware we had gotten it in, let
Yeah,
everybody be thinking
I'm
about
okay
it.
with just rejecting the grant. Okay, Commissioner Akon.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I attended several events in the last 2 weeks, but I won't go into detail on any of them. Basically, some of the other commissioners were also there, and there's no deal more than one I was commenting on some of them. But I think, last week was a very interesting week. But I think the highlight of last week was the Veterans Day Parade. Most of us attended the Veterans Day Parade, a good parade. The weather was beautiful. Great participation from different groups in the county and actually Eastern North Carolina and the base. And it's always a special day to me. I did not serve in the military. Mr. Mayo, Mr. Bell, and I don't know about the other commissioners, but y'all did. But it's heartwarming to me to see these veterans all the way back to World War II, Korean conflict, Vietnam, all that's been going on in the Middle East, and look and see these young men and women that's in uniform today, the sacrifices that they are making now, and the sacrifices that our veterans and so many that gave their life for our freedom. It's a special day to me. And like I say, I have not served in the military. My dad did. My wife's dad did. Now Linda's wife did. And a brother-in-law that served in Vietnam that God knows what he's still going through. But they're my heroes. And Veterans Day is a special day to me. And I just want to thank all the veterans and all the people that have served and the ones that are serving now for the sacrifices they make for us. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Mayo.
We had a Goldsboro Wayne Transportation Authority meeting, and that authority is doing really well. You're going to see some financial figures that are much encouraging from what they were 2 or 3 years ago. Fred Fontana and the board is doing a fantastic job of bringing forward the Goldsboro Wayne Transportation Authority. Attended a Jetport meeting last night, advisory meeting up at the Jetport, and you saw some of the results today of that. Boy, I got an echo here. I also, I guess one of the highlights for myself and my family was last Thursday, the Wayne County Development Alliance Industry Appreciation Luncheon. Our small business, after 35 years, was honored to receive the Why Wayne Works Award. And Tiffany, when I pulled out of my pocket 2 sheets of paper, she said, "Oh my gosh, he's going to give a speech." And what I told her was, I said, if it takes 35 years to get an award, I said, I won't be here the next 35 years. Mm-hmm. So I want to take all the time necessary to get everything in. But I do appreciate, one of the things, I haven't looked at the video, but I'm thinking that I may have. I'm going to cover it anyway. I have my notes with me right away. Because of time, and I didn't do this on purpose, because of time, I've got it on my notes. I forgot, I'm pretty sure, to thank the Wayne County Board of Commissioners. And I think I did forget. And what I had written down is that without your funding and approving what we do in this county, very little is going to happen. And I looked at and made a reference to the new manufacturing setup that we have, manufacturing center, so training center. So I do want to make it right. If I didn't say it, that I do appreciate what this board does. On the other hand, I'm a little bit disappointed as a commissioner that during Hurricane Matthew, we had a lot of employees of our county stepped up to the plate. And as of right now, I feel that some of the employees in our county may not be treated as fairly as they could or maybe should. And those concerns are there. I want to make those known, that the employees, I still believe that the employees make us look good, and whenever possible, we need to support them. That's all I have. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Cromartie.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I would like to always chime in and lend my voice of appreciation to what the military does. When you read that they have had 2 and 3 and 4 deployments to a war zone, that speaks volumes. I mean, that just does that. And there's no way for us to sit back here and adequately thank them, except that whenever you see on TV that the veterans are not getting the medical attention they need, and the fact that they run into things that the average citizen, I don't think, will have to worry about, because you haven't had those experiences that they had. So, Mr. Mayo, you're so, I'm sorry, Mr. Acock, you're so correct when you give them that credit. I participated last week in the Gateway Transportation Authority meeting, and I used the word participate because I wasn't there in person. I had a conflict, and through electronics and technology, I was able to participate, needed to participate, and that was a worthwhile experience to do that. But that just shows that, number one, we have the leadership in the organization through the director, that he is able to make things keep moving forward and don't let little glitches get in your way to keep from making that happen. Last week, I had an opportunity to I attended the Mount Olive Town Board meeting, and I was actually there escorting someone or in support of someone. The chairman of wages is Shirley Edwards. And the reason she was there, first meeting that she could make since the hurricane came through, was to thank the town, and of course the police department is part of that. The First Pentecostal Holiness Church, who provided a trailer to cook the food in that had been provided. And a group known as Men of FIC, which is president is Al Sutherland. And he has a great group of men with him who help to provide food to the families who get the meals on wheels, because that the river was blocked off and the meals couldn't get across the river, so the southern part of Wayne County was blocked off, and that had some extenuating circumstances that affected a lot of folk, to include some of our employees. I would like to close by saying a lot of our constituencies, mine, are tradesmen in the southern part of Wayne County: carpenters, bricklayers, electricians, plumbers. And the storm affected them in some negative ways, because if it was wet enough, rain bad enough, houses soaked bad enough, they could not continue to have their normal employment. And so there was a lot of suffering done during that time. And so we need to consider all of our employees when we start thinking about what was lost and what was not normally taken care of, what didn't normally happen. I knew people who worked at, and I won't name the company because that would, you name some, you left some out, but a couple of the larger companies in Wayne County and Duplin County, some of those employees, because they didn't go to work, they lost wages. But thank goodness there were people who stepped up to help them, and that's what this is all about. Wayne County has a way of stepping up and helping folk. But a lot of folks suffered during that time, and those of us that didn't need to feel very fortunate and blessed that we didn't. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Gurley.
So before I forget, Mr. Cromartie, for those individuals that were affected, you might want to mention them to go to the DRC. There's possibly some unemployment benefits they could take advantage of, so I couldn't guarantee, but I would certainly try. Okay. Attended the Public Health Board meeting last week, and the Health Department partnership with Region 10 of Public Health Departments has received a $250,000 grant to establish a diabetes prevention program across the 9-county region. Of course, this funding will replace the previous funding that was operating the community's focus on eliminating health disparities initiative. And last week at our board meeting, we had a couple of programs presented to us. One of them was the dental operations that the health director made his presentation, and the maternity program. And also last week, the Wayne Memorial Hospital board met, and Dr. Cipriani, one of our Wayne Memorial Hospital health physicians, has opened up a new practice in Pikeville on October 31st, and that's going to expand the footprint of physicians in northern Wayne County, and we're excited about that. And then the 50 Shades of Pink event hosted on, focused on breast cancer, was held on the hospital's front lawn on November 2nd, and there was over 200 attendees there. And congratulations to Commissioner Mayo and NC Manufacturing for the award they received last week at the Industry Appreciation Luncheon. Congratulations, Mr. Mayo, and all your employees and family. And one thing I'd like to ask for this board to address and reconsider our next meeting discussion on the issues of payroll for those employees that were requested to take time off as vacation or leave without pay due to power outages. Our employees are our biggest asset. I just want to make sure that we hear them well and we address the issue. Thank you.
Mr. Pate.
Just to follow up on the unemployment part, they said, of course, I lived in that world. You can't do it locally anymore. You're going to have to go online and file for disaster unemployment off the NC Commerce site. That's how you have to do it now. The local offices are not involved in that at all. I want to give a shout out to the Patriots Coalition, our Veteran Service Office, and all the organizations that were involved in the parade. That was a great job and took a lot of work and a lot of organization. With Bill Graham and Vic Miller did a good job. So I really enjoy that. I don't go into details, as Wayne said. And he and I both attended the wreath laying too, which is always really touches my heart. And I want to congratulate NC Manufacturing and the Mayo family for receiving their award. It was well earned and well deserved, and you should be proud of it. I don't think we talked about the broadband meeting. I think it took place the day after our last meeting.
I think that's right.
Myself and Joe was there, and of course George, and we had Chip. What's the guy's name from broadband? George.
Colin.
Yeah. And we had 5 different service providers that showed up for that meeting. So there is quite a bit of interest in providing broadband internet, and I was really encouraged to have that many people there. Of course, frankly, some of them were the big guys who I don't think are going to really be doing the broadband as we're looking at, and I'm not sure they're interested in expanding too many cable lines unless it makes sense. But I did get a sense from the others that they were very interested in helping the rural areas receive high-speed internet. And so that process is moving forward. It's not going to be an RFP. It's going to be an RFI.
Yeah, request for information.
And we got some good advice by those people at that meeting that would save us some time and we could move forward a lot more quickly than we would if we went the other direction. And it made a lot of sense. You got any comments on that?
No, I agree with you. I thought that was probably one of the best parts of the meeting, was to have that discussion about whether to do a RFP or do an RFI, and it made sense what they were saying.
It really did, and again, they told us after the meeting that they never had that many people show up, so that's very encouraging. I just want to let y'all know about that. That's all I have, Mr. Chairman.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make one more comment before you make yours. Sure.
I just thought that the public needs to know, in western North Carolina right now, we've got some rather large forest fires. In fact, I think the second largest one in the nation right now is in North Carolina. Maybe the largest one's in Georgia. But I just wanted to thank that Wayne County has had crews up there. I just want to thank those individual departments and those individuals for sacrificing, going up there, because some of the people that went up there from Wayne County has taken vacation time to go help them people. And I just commend, and I'm not going to start calling names, but it just crews from Wayne County has sent personnel and equipment up there, and I just want to thank them, because that's what it's all about. Because 4 weeks ago we were going through it, and they came to our aid, and this is what it's all about in Wayne County, North Carolina, is helping each other. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Time flies. We've gone through a year, and this is my my last day and meeting as being chairman of this Board of Commissioners. I want to thank the board for enduring my tenure as chair, but I actually look forward in stepping out of this role. And the reason I look forward to stepping out of this role is that the chairman is generally hampered in regards to his remarks. It's sometimes like herding cats, and when you are in the role as chair, you cannot enter into the lively debate as I am so used to doing. But I do appreciate the fact that over the last year that you all had confidence in me in serving as chair. Now, that said, let me go into one of my moments. I am somewhat perplexed by the issue in regards to members of the board that are serving on boards and commissions that evidently are weighing more heavily on the exterior board or commission that they are on and taking positions that are in contrary to their serving on this board. And from this commissioner standpoint, I just feel like that somebody needs to say it. And lo and behold, I suppose it's up to me to say it, so I'll say it. Our primary job as commissioners are a fiduciary relationship to the county of Wayne. That's our primary function. We were elected to represent the best interest of the citizens of Wayne County. And if you are appointed or on another board, you should be representing our position on that board, not taking that board's position if it's contrary to this board. There's a conflict there. But always, I encourage our commissioners to actually take the position for the county of Wayne. And I'm going to give an example here. The hospital board. The hospital board is appointed by this board. Pure and simple, they are appointed by this board. That board, for some reason, has taken on a very confrontational position against this board, and we must defend the contract and the position of the county of Wayne. I go back to the agreement that was made in transferring the hospital over to a board. Item 3 of that contract specifically states, as express consideration for the county's agreement to convey the hospital property, the corporation agrees to continue to furnish indigent care. That is the only payment to the citizens of Wayne County for the property that was transferred to them. The only payment was future compensation, and that was to provide indigent care. It's very clear there. We have today established the definition of indigent care, and furthermore reminded the hospital that they are to indemnify this board and the county from any and hold us harmless from all claims and losses. I would hope going forward that the hospital board recognizes their responsibility to the citizens of this county and steps up and does what they should be doing, and that is providing indigent care and the cost of that, and not billing the citizens back for it. This has been an undercurrent for over a year, and we need to put it to rest. The county owned the hospital. They transferred it to a nonprofit entity. That entity says, we're not going to write you a check for it. We're going to pay you over the future years by providing indigent care. That is their payment for the hospital. I don't know why they're so complicated for them to understand that. So, I'm sure the question will be made from the newspaper, so I'm going to answer it today and right now. Why did I make a motion that we not reappoint the members that was recommended by the appointments committee to the hospital board? The reason for that is this. Why would you turn around and replace back on the board the same members that have created the controversy and in fact are not wanting to live up to their responsibility? This board appoints those individuals. I think it would be unwise to continue to have the same people representing the county on that hospital board. That was the reason for the motion. Well, at least I have gotten all that off my chest as such, and with great pleasure, I make adjourn my final meeting as the chair.